talking, we can talk about USAID. This is the first egregious example of your taxpayer dollars going to every twisted idea that you would never support in your entire life. Transgender monkeys, mice, and rats, we're studying that for $10 million. A couple $1 million to have sex change operations for Guatemalan children. Transgender opera in Colombia. I mean, this is just absolutely stupid stuff. But here's where it really gets frightening to me. Samantha Powers. I had one of you guys say, when I hear her speak, it's a woman, but I hear Barack Obama. You should. Samantha Powers is, by extension, Barack Obama. She carries out his agenda, and his agenda has always been anti-America. Whatever we can do to weaken America is what we're going to do, and that's what they've done at USAID to the tune of maybe $50 billion a year. The crazy thing about USAID is that nobody actually knows what the budget is. Some estimates are as low as $28.5 billion. Some estimates are as high as $50 billion. I'm going to say it's probably on the high end of that scale, not on the low end. But in their documents, you can go find their documents, and they say the United States Agency for International Development has played a pivotal role in shaping the geopolitical landscape through its initiatives aimed at fostering democratic principles and supporting media outlets worldwide. They have supported media outlets worldwide. They've trained reporters. Think about how frightening that is. USAID has actively trained reporters, which means they have trained and conditioned and groomed reporters to be anti-capitalist, anti-Western civilization, anti-America. That's what they have been. It's what they've spent your money on. Voice of America, anti-American. NPR, PBS, clearly wildly to the left. And I would suggest, again, anti-American. These operations need to be defunded immediately. In fact, I would say USAID should be completely disabled, defunded, and torn down. Look, if we want to buy food and water and make water wells in Africa for people that are needing water or putting bread on the table for people who are starving, we can do that. Find a different agency to do it. That is supposed to be what USAID is supposed to be. USAID is what we always thought it was. Oh gosh, they're feeding poor kids in Ghana. No, actually, they're feeding propaganda to kids in Colombia and teaching them that America's terrible. And then they feed it back into America by training reporters who in turn say terrible things about the country you live in and love. And so you've got billions of dollars flowing out, taxpayer dollars, going to all these crazy things. Let me just read another part for you here. Strategic electoral influence. Think about this one closely. USAID's involvement in elections is not merely superficial. No kidding. It is deeply entwined with the aim to steer strategically significant elections toward democratic outcomes. They admit right here in election interference. It's part of their mission statement. Election interference is part of their mission statement. It's right here in black and white. USAID interfered in American elections. I'll just put it out there for you. The election of 2020, USAID. All this time, we thought it was George Soros getting these radical leftist DAs elected in places like San Francisco, New York, or wherever. No, read USAID into that equation and the money they spent. Your taxpayer dollars to support these radical leftists who don't care about law and order. In fact, if they can create a breakdown in law enforcement, they can create a breakdown in society. Bingo. And the band played on. And it goes on. Funding media outlets and journalistic integrity, they say. A significant portion of USAID's budget has been allocated to the Internews Network. Look that one up. Internews Network. A U.S. government-funded NGO. By 2023, $500 million have been directed to Internews. This organization boasts an impressive portfolio, collaborating with 4,291 media outlets, producing 4,799 hours of broadcasts annually, and all with their thumb on the scale. All with their thumb on that propaganda scale, or trigger, maybe it is, as they go and put that propaganda out across the world. They've reached an annual audience of 778 million people. And furthermore, Internews has trained, here it is, 9,000 journalists. Read that as propagandists. legal and electoral support, polls and reports, overseeing elections, global reach and legacy. Let me read you this one as I wrap this up for you. But just let me tell you, the USAID is the devil we paid for. They funded NIH. They funded Wuhan. They funded transgender monkeys, rats, and mice. It is insane. The global reach of USAID's initiatives is undeniable. By 2023, the organization had a presence in numerous countries across different continents, impacting millions of lives through its diverse projects. Isn't that a cute word to use, diverse projects? The legacy of USAID's electoral and media support initiatives will likely be a subject of debate for years to come. You got that right. You're damn right. As we pull the plug on this. Oh, and by the way, one other thing I suggest here today, I think Joe Biden fell asleep too early. Why do I say that? Well, you look at Samantha Powers, the now former director of USAID, and all of her cohorts, all of her lieutenants, all of her minions. Joe Biden fell asleep before giving pardons to enough people. Joe Biden didn't hand out near enough pardons because there is going to be hell to pay and people are going to be held to account and people are going to be charged with real crimes because real crimes have been committed.